Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Phil from Scanner School, and this is our monthly live Q&A session. If you haven't noticed by now, there's a little bit of a difference in today's session. There's no lower third here today. We had a little bit of a minor glitch. It looks like when I took the Mac Catalina update, I didn't test Open Broadcast Server or Source, or whatever it is that I use. I use OBS to actually stream this to you guys, and it's failing to load. So we're going to do the down, quick, and dirty. The MVP version, the minimal viable product, to kind of get out here, guys, and to say hello. So again, if you're joining me on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're watching us on the website, it's scannerschool.com/live. I don't know if the chat's going to work over there, but you can watch us over at YouTube on our YouTube channel. For those of us on our Facebook page, hopefully you guys are able now to answer or ask questions, and I should be able to see them. So again, this session is here for you. This is our monthly live Q&A session. If you have any questions you would like us to talk about, or you have any questions for us, please put them down in the chat box. And if you're watching right now, just shoot me a hello. This way I know you're down there. This way I can also see if the chat features are working right now, because right now, since we are in the MVP mode, again, the minimal viable product, don't even know if that is something that's going to work either. So we'll be doing that. So it looks like my microphone is actually using the other connection. So I'm really sorry about that one. It looks like this one may not even be working. So if I sound distant, I do apologize for that as well. Just going through the settings here, because again, I'm using the live version of this, the web interface, just to get to you guys. And of course, it's one of those days nothing is polished. Can't really tell you what's going on here today, but you guys will find out in a future podcast what's been going on. So just, I guess, while I'm waiting for questions to come in, hopefully you guys are submitting questions below. If you have any, at least just say hi, so that I can't find support channels enabled. I mean, that's why I can't see any chat coming in from you guys yet. Hopefully you guys are able to chat. So let me know. Definitely hit me up if you're able to chat. And in fact, in the meantime, I'm going to bring up another window here and see if I can see the chat on there as well. So again, leave a question for me in the chat box, and I'll answer them if I see them come in. Hopefully, I can actually see them come in. I'm going to bring up on my computer over here. I'm going to bring up the two feeds so that I can play along at home, basically, so to speak, and keep an eye on that as well. So again, things are a little bit different today. I'm missing my open broadcast software, which makes my life a whole lot easier. We won't be able to do any screen sharing or any top-down graphics, so we'll do that way as well. But that's that. So while I'm waiting for your questions to come in, while I'm waiting for that to happen, what I'm going to do is just give you a summary of what we talked about last week on the podcast, and give you a little bit of a teaser as to what you can expect coming up really shortly on the podcast. Again, I'm not even sure if this microphone's even working, but you guys let me know if I sound too distant or not as well. Last week we talked about stolen radio IDs, and this was something I brought up because we talked about commercial radios and using commercial radios as a solution on session number 81. And it's something I've seen people do, and I don't know, I came up with the podcast idea basically because it was in the media that somebody had actually used commercial gear, and I'm just logging in here to the other chat network. And I just wanted to proves not a point, but just kind of share with you guys a real life world example that, this is something that can happen that you can kind of get caught up in. So you may not think that, it's just a scanner, it's just programmed the right way. But in the eyes of law enforcement, maybe they see it as being a radio with their code plug in it on a network that they own, and that's a issue for them. You may be in the complete, doing everything the right way, that it's not affiliating, but to somebody who doesn't see things on the programming side and just sees, hey, you have a cop's radio, or a cop wants to know what you're doing on the radio, or public safety, or somebody else, is it really worth the risk of finding yourself in that type of hot water because you wanted to use a Motorola radio as opposed to a scanner? So that's kind of what it was I was getting at with all this. So that's what's coming up or what came up on last week's podcast. Now, this upcoming week, we have another live Q&A session because this will be the first Tuesday of November. And going forward with that, again, we are looking at, doing this. It's been a monthly thing for us on that as well. And again, I apologize. I'm just trying to bring up the video here to make sure I have no chats coming in because I am not seeing any chats or any questions coming in. So, I'm just bringing this up, and for some reason, YouTube wants me to use YouTube as another name. So come on. This is having a good day today. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Just look for my own channel that way, and just see if there's any chats coming in. All right. So, yeah, I don't see any chats right now on YouTube. So if you have anything to say, let me know. And then let me go over here to Facebook and see. Apologize for this, guys. It's just been one of those mornings. So we are live now. Okay, I can see James Miller. I see you there. And then Joshua 10-2. All right. So I'm getting your chats on the live video on Facebook. But of course, I'm not seeing them come through the chat, which is why I did things this way. So interesting. All right. Well, now we know that's not working either. So it's all a thing. All right. And also here on the YouTube channel, so I have to bring us in on two separate chats. Interesting. All right, James, I just got a chat from you from Facebook in here. Okay. When will you be doing a segment on how to send live audio from a home scanner? James, that should be coming up. I'm going to say, let me actually give you a definite answer on this one instead of let me just say. So let me just go to my schedule here and go into my spreadsheet, and I'll let you know where that's scheduled for. And let's see, episode guide. Dates. So it looks like that's going to be session number 104. That will release on 12/17. So about another month and change is when that one will release, James. That's when that one's coming out. So hopefully that isn't too long of a wait for you, but we kind of have a packed schedule up until that point. It might move up a week to 103. I'm not exactly sure yet, but right now that is where I have it scheduled in for, is the week before Christmas. So that's where that is. Let me flip back over to here. Okay, nothing new is coming in from Facebook. Again, if you have any questions, just go and click it down there at the bottom of the chat for the video, and I'll answer the questions as I see them come in. Again, we're doing this until 11:30, till the bottom of the hour, and then we move over to our Patreon only feed. So for those of you who are Patreon supporters at the $5 level, which again is really only $1 a week if you think about it, or close to it. That's all it takes to support us and get our special Patreon only Q&A session, which follows this one right away. So Far Too Many Gadgets, love that name, is asking, hello from York County, PA. Pennsylvania State Police use an unscannable OpenSky system, but they are installing a parallel P25 system. Will that new system replace OpenSky? Can it be scanned? Okay, so P25 by itself, yes, can be scanned. The only issue would be is if they're using encryption. So that is definitely a good question. Let's just take a look at Radio Reference and just see if there's anything in there right now. I'm assuming this is a PA statewide system that's going to be replacing the PA StarNet. Now, again, there's nothing right now in Radio Reference for the statewide systems, just the PA StarNet, which is the OpenSky, right? And OpenSky is completely unscannable. And we actually dodged a bullet here in New York. There was talks of doing a statewide trunk radio system. And can you believe it or not, New York does not have a statewide trunk radio system. And they were looking at doing OpenSky. They failed the quality test. Luckily, they weren't able to do what they had to do. And New York decided to pull the funding off that project. But they never sent and replaced it with anything. So right now, every county's got their own system. Where I live, Nassau County, the police are encrypted, and they're on a 500 megahertz system. Next to me, it's an 800 Motorola Type 2 system, and then rolling over to P25, because the police are encrypted. You go to the west, you're in New York City, they're conventional UHF. So there's things all over the place, and who really, a statewide system would probably be great, and it'd be nice to keep all the resources together and pool tax monies together, because our taxes here are crazy as they are, and the county's kind of broke, which really stinks. So that's a whole nother topic on itself. So right now there's not much to answer on that one, gadgets, but I would assume just based on P25, yes, you can scan P25. Whether it's phase 1 or phase 2, you should be okay. And the other question would be, it's whether or not they have encryption turned on. So they may decide to throw encryption on there only because they know right now the Open Sky network is unscannable. So that's the only thing that would concern me right now about that. So that would be the best answer I give to you at this time on that one. Fetch is asking, I got a double one from him. Will I be at HRU this year in January? So for those of you who don't know, HRU is Ham Radio University. It is something that's done on the first Saturday or Sunday, depending on what year you're looking at, I guess, at this point, of the new year. So it's basically a ham radio forum. There's a bunch of conferences that happen. It's about 5 or 6 rooms where you can figure out, what you want during that time block and go in and see a discussion about that topic at hand. They have topics on, say, antennas, satellites, using IRLP or D-Star or DMR, how to solder connectors, and of course, for the last, I don't know, almost 10 years or so, I would guess, I've been doing a scanner radio forum in there. And in fact, if you want to check it out, I did post the copy of that to YouTube, and the audio only version of that's also on a podcast as well. So the podcast episode on that one, because it's fast for you to find that one, would be session number 57, which was just about a year ago. At scannerschool.com/session 57 is my talk at Ham Radio University 2019. So we'll see if they do a 2020. Fetch, to answer your second question, did I say that new SCPD system would be encrypted? Nope, did not say that they would be encrypted. If I did say that, I didn't mean to say that. Let's put it that way. The new Suffolk County system is, from what I can see right now, will not be encrypted. There's supposed to be a couple of talk groups, like the high end, like narcotics, probably surveillance, those kind of things would be encrypted. But from what I'm seeing on the trunk systems now, and from what I've also been seeing, there wouldn't be any day-to-day encryption on the standard dispatch channels here in Suffolk County, New York. So Joseph's asking, a nearby city has most of the police encrypted. I recently found that there is a permanent patch for their first dispatch channel on another system. Not a queue, just sharing. Yeah, it's always funny when you find those, Joe. Those are interesting. In fact, like I said before, our county is P25 encrypted, but they do patch in every once in a while to our neighboring county, and it's a horrible patch. It sounds like, they basically have somebody in a radio room keying up a microphone and holding it to the speaker. It's pretty bad, but that was unencrypted for a while. So whenever they open up the patch, you can at least hear the county come in on it. I think they've actually now encrypted that talk group on the other system. They've gotten wise to that one. But yeah, every once in a while you'll find a patch go out there, and it is pretty interesting. So let's see what we got going on here. Man, this chat is just not playing well, so I will be opening up a ticket on this for sure. Bo, hey from Denmark. It's Tetra Radio in UDE in the US. Is Denmark? Okay, I'm sorry. Is Tetra Radio in use in the USA? Excuse me, guys. I'm just still getting over my cold here. Tetra, very, very rare in the US. There is some Tetra in the US. There's nothing in my immediate area. There was a rumor that our local MTA would be going Tetra, but I think that's kind of been scrubbed. So, but yeah, to answer your question, there's some Tetra here. Not a lot, not really wide used, but it is out here. And thanks so much for watching me over in Denmark. It's really cool when I get some people on the other side of the Atlantic to tune in. It's always really cool to see where you guys are watching from. I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Let's look at the other questions here. Going back to Facebook, let's see. Facebook, I'm still not seeing any questions come in. Okay, I got some questions coming in now. Here we go. This chat is just not really working so well. Colby's asking, or Colby, how about a video tour of the Shack scanner antenna setup? Yeah, that's going to come. What I really have right now is a bit of a hodgepodge, unfortunately. I'm actually going to have, or I'm hoping to have the basement completely gutted and done all over again in this winter time. So the area that I'm sitting right now is going to be my new command central for doing the podcast, the live feeds, and doing my radio stuff. So the screen behind me will be going away when that happens because there'll be a wall up and you won't see all the mess on the other side of this. And that will eventually be, as I'm building the new station here, as I'm building in the new setup, then I'll be giving a tour and a tutorials and everything else on how I'm putting everything together, how I'm wiring it in, how I'm grounding everything. How the coax is being routed, the whole deal. As I'm building this will be completely documented as we're going along. So hold on one second. It says this cough is just not wanting to go away. But let's see. James, I got one from you over here. Seems like I'm getting all of the Facebook chats coming in, but nothing coming in from YouTube, which is very I'm paying for this, but it's not really working right, which is interesting. All right. Josh, Rob, question sent on SpeakPipe early in the week. Okay, yeah. So if you sent in a question, Josh, on SpeakPipe, I've queued those questions up now till the next Ask Scanner School. So the cutoff date now is the 15th of the month because I have I actually have a editor now doing the podcast editing for me and a publisher. So I need to give them about a week and a half of lead time in order to do this comfortably. And so it's no longer waiting till the last minute to have questions submitted and answered. So your question will be answered on the next version of Ask Scanner School, which will release the first Tuesday of December. All right. So unless you want to ask a question here, and because I got another 12 minutes, Josh, and then I can answer the question here now as well. All right. So James is also asking, on the TRX-1, is it worth doing any in-depth configuring, like in the digital global settings? Yeah, it could be worth changing that out. Your P25 wait time, I think, is a setting in there. Your ADC settings, such as your analog digital gain, those settings may reflect on how the speaker sounds, the volume coming out of it. And I eventually hope to do a full-on tutorial and training segment just on the TRX-1s. Right now, I am trying to wrap up my SDS training, my intro to SDS training. After that, I'll be moving on to, my intro to SDR training. After that will be the SDS 100-200 videos that will be coming out. And then I guess TRX-1s, because that's a very another popular scanner out there. So if you're interested in this, go to scannerschool.com/courses, and in there I'll put you on a waiting list for when those courses do come out and when they will be available. So right now, moving this podcast off of the podcast editing and publishing off my plate is allowing me to do some things I haven't been able to do for a while. Again, I'm not going to leave a spoiler in here, but it's allowing me to do more with my time, so I'll be able to get into these videos more and to do stuff like this. Again, me coming here right now is an example of that. So having this half hour here on a Saturday is better spent with you guys than editing a podcast, in my opinion. So that's why I'm very happy you guys are here and asking about it. James is asking, what are the unit SDS 200 filters used for? A new owner here, and thanks for the help from James. So, Scott, the filters are used to, there's a very good question here. There's not a lot of documentation on the filters. So basically, if you're having an issue receiving a signal, say you're finding out that you got cutting out, or your VHF reception isn't as strong, or it just doesn't sound right, it's cutting out, you can then toggle the filters to, I believe it's in, I forget what the filters are actually set up in there. But your best bet is to set the filters up and cycle through them and find out which one works best for what it is you're trying to receive. Don't set up for automatic, because that's going to slow your scan rate down. But there's, from what I can find, I've been looking for them. In fact, Anthony Saggio had asked this same exact question. I guess on this month's Ask Scanner School coming out, he asked the exact same question. I might have actually postponed this one until next month too, but there's no real hard documentation on this. So it's kind of like just play with them and see what works best for you. Unfortunately, that's the best answer that I have on that. So I do apologize for not having anything else better to tell you, Scott, but that is kind of what is out there. So that's that. Let me flap over to here and see. Let's see. Far Too Many Gadgets is asking, and again, this isn't going to my live chat, which is, I apologize. Any news about scanners from Whistler? I know they canceled one in March, but I haven't heard anything else since. Yeah, actually, I was in talks with Whistler just really quick. And actually, I did a podcast on this 2 weeks ago, session 96. So they did come out with software upgrades to the TRX-1 and the TRX-2, and those are basically going to allow you to turn them into European versions with different band plans. So there's some minor tweaks to that. They did come out with new antenna hardware. So there's 3 new antennas that are actually out on the market right now, and they're crazy looking. But there is nothing new going on right now on the hardware side for radios. So basically, I asked about that, and Whistler Wendy actually came back and said, it's nothing new in development right now as far as hardware. And, she just said that we're definitely moving forward, though, with, what we have out there now and supporting the existing equipment and come up with the antennas. So it looks like the TRX-1 and the TRX-2 will be here for a long time without anything to replace them. So if you're not dealing with simulcast issues, good for you. So my TRX-1 does not seem to do well at all in simulcast. Even outside the area, it's not doing well. It does great, though, on DMR and XDN. So I've been playing around with it quite a bit. In fact, it's starting to collect a little bit of dust here. But, it's still, I mean, I am primarily Uniden. I do like their interface, but playing around with this one, there's some things I love about it, some things I don't like about it. I mean, one of the things I can't stand about it really is the squelch dial right here is on the top, and the volume is just a directional up and down. So really wish it was the other way around. Again, I apologize for the cough and fits. All right, so we got about 7 minutes left here on this live Q&A session. I want to thank you guys all for joining, and for anybody catching the replay, I'll try and answer any questions I see coming in. I do apologize for the way things look today. I since doing my Mac Catalina update, I guess I couldn't run OBS today, so that was my streaming software. So right now it's just webcam and streaming live to the internet. So all right, let's flip back over to Facebook here, and let's see if I have anything new on that one. It looks like I'm getting some older questions still popping in here. Not seeing anything new coming in from Facebook on this one. All right, YouTube. No question, no new question on YouTube either. All right, guys, if you have any questions for me, please be sure to leave them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer them. While I'm waiting for that, I know I teased this earlier, so let me talk about what's coming up on the podcast coming up really soon. So this Tuesday is Ask Scanner School Volume 14. So that's where I answer your questions. So if you write in or you call us up or leave us a speak pipe, then if you use a voicemail method, I will put your voice on the podcast, and it's always cool to actually hear questions come live from you guys. So you can leave me a question at scannerschool.com/ask. And again, you have until the 15th of the month. So my recommendation is to do it now and do it quick, so that you won't forget, basically. After that, we have our 2019 Holiday Buyer's Guide. So that one will be basically what I recommend, that's current this year. So this will be, do I recommend the TRX 100 or do I recommend a TRX 1? Do I recommend, the brand new, what's this one over here? The SR30C. That's it called. I always forget the model number of that one. The SR30C. Or the BC125AT. I don't know. So, so that's that. So we'll have the buyer's guide, After that, though, we have episode number 100. So, actually, you know what? I think the order's changing here because I already did the artwork. So I think the Holly Buyers guys actually come out on week 101, episode 101. Vehicle installs will be vehicle installs is going to be the following one. So vehicle installs will be 99. Now that I'm thinking about all this. And then vehicle installs are getting swapped with our buyer's guide. Glad I went through this with you guys. All right, so here it is for the rest of the year, basically. We have Ask Scanner School comes out next week. After that is vehicle installs. Session 100, which is going to be a cool episode. I have something really cool in the works on that one, so I'm kind of scrambling to get that done, so it's ready for you guys. After that, on 101 will be our buyer's guide. 102 will be Ask Scanner School Session 15. 103 will be the Unidentis R30C. Following that, on 104 will be setting up a live scanner feed. Session 105, which actually drops on Christmas Day, is going to be a review of Unidin's Close Call, how it works and how it can give you a headache. Don't know if I'm going to talk about Spectrum Scan yet. I think I'm going to leave that one for its own, the Whistler version of that. So that one might be the week following. Will be 106, and that's going to close out the year. So I'm actually going to do that right here and make sure I get that in the schedule. 106 is going to be Whistlers. And we'll tie that into what GRE and Radio Shack used to call them with Signal Stalker and all that stuff. So maybe it's best we break that out in 2 weeks. So yeah, so that's the schedule for the rest of the year, basically. And then we have a couple of interviews that have already been recorded, and still looking for ideas for the podcast. So if you have anything you want to talk about next year, you want to be a guest on the podcast, obviously you can come in and do that one as well. So Dan from Indiana, glad to see you on there. Joseph, really quick, I'll answer this one. Wish I had the TRX-1 as a button for quick recording. Does the SCS-100 have a feature like that? I don't want to record 24/7, but when something happens, I like a quick way. Yes. So down here at the very bottom of the screen, there is a replay button. So the replay button does allow you to kind of DVR your recordings. You do need to turn that on, though, in the scanner setting. You have to turn on the recording limit or the replay limit on the scanner. That has to be enabled. If you don't enable it, you're not going to get that feature. So, but if you set it for like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, when you push that button, you'll get a 60-second chunk of the last 60 seconds. So, they were exploring a large multi-site system here near Washington, D.C. Do you think they'd be interested in doing a deep dive article on something like that? Of course. So let's add that into the list of things to do here. Deep dive, exploring a multi-trunk. Yep. So I was going to talk about Unitrunker, but maybe we can do that as a following week for that one as well. So that would be cool to do as well. Thank you so much, Joseph, for the suggestion. And let me just flop over here to Facebook, see if we have anything else. I don't see any other questions coming from Facebook. So with that, I got about a minute left on here before I go over to Patreon. Guys, if you guys are on Patreon, I'm doing another Q&A right after this with just my Patreon support, guys. So I'll be on with them for the next 30 minutes. Again, you can go to scannerschool.com/support, and you can then just sign up with Patreon. I'll get you the link immediately to join us for the next 30 minutes. And then we'll do this again next month. The day may change next month. My wife actually has something planned on the first Saturday. So this might actually be the first Tuesday coming up next month. I want to play around with the date and time and see if I can bring some more people in or less people, see how it works, right? This is all experimental right now. It's very fluid, and I love having you guys here. I also want to thank our Patreon supporters. I don't have the list up in front of me right now. I do apologize for that. It would have been running in the corner as I'm leading out to this, but since my OBS isn't working, I can't do that. But you guys on Patreon, I really do appreciate you. And it's because of Patreon I'm able to come in here and open up my schedule a little bit more because I have the resources now to kind of get somebody in here to edit and publish my podcast for me. So that saves me like a whole afternoon's worth of work. And also, if you guys don't mind doing this, I'm looking for looking for people to help write reviews for me on iTunes. So my goal is to have 100 5-star reviews by the end of the year. And I'm not asking for a 5-star review. I'm just asking for an honest review. And if you leave me an honest review on iTunes by going to scannerschool.com/iTunes, And then shoot me a screenshot, DM me at Scanner School on Instagram. I'll put you in a running for some, I got them right here, some Squelchy bumper stickers. And also a live tutorial session, a live tutoring session. So you'll get to ask me any questions you want for an hour. So again, the $5 Patreon supporters will get those stickers, and the winner of the random person who I pick out of a hat for DMing me the image of their review will get a running for stickers and also a free consulting call. So with that, guys, it's 11:30 my local time. I'm about a minute late to get over to Patreon. So for those of you who are standing by for the Patreon feed, I'll be there in 1 second. And for everybody else who's been here, please ask your questions away for the next Ask Scanner School, scannerschool.com/ask. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, comments, you know how to reach me. Phil@scannerschool.com is my email. And D. Carter from Indiana with a rookie with the new SDS 200. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them on an upcoming podcast episode or even on a future video like this. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you guys on video at least next month. Bye-bye.